But today, I'm going to discuss. I have made well over 300 phone calls to about 14 different suppliers. I still am getting no positive response that someone can order the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo for me and get it for me in a reasonable period of time. In fact, the 6 weeks, if they order it from Manila, but Manila has to order it from their supplier, which they leave that piece of information out when they tell you the 4 to 6 weeks. So it's 4 to 6 weeks once their corporate store in Manila gets the product, but when they call their corporate stores in Manila, that store will tell them that it could be another 3 to 5 weeks to get the computer to Manila. So at this point, I will give you the names of the stores that I have tried to contact. Okay, so, I will give you the names of the malls that I have gone to. I will not name the stores themselves, but I will tell you that each person in each store, it's as if they have, they do have a prerequisite in order to order the computer. That prerequisite is all the same. They want a 50% deposit. But there's also another complication that each store has. I've gone through with each store. That complication is the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo i7 is the one I want. And each person in every store, every time, tells you that's available. Come in and leave us a 50% deposit, which is about 80,000 pesos. So when you further question them, what they do is they tell you, come to the store and give us a deposit, and we will order that computer for you. Then you ask them how long it will take, and they say 4 to 6 weeks. But if you go further, which I've learned to do, and ask them to call their corporate store in Manila that they're ordering it from, there's an additional 3 to 5 weeks. So theoretically, I would have to wait anywhere from 4 to 9 weeks for a computer, maybe longer. That's not acceptable. So my request for assistance is relatively simple. I need someone in the Philippines who has access to someone else in the Philippines that can order that computer for me. So to digress, I have now made more than 300 phone calls, more than 300 phone calls, and a lot of those were redial. I've talked to the store in the Octagon. I've talked to the store in the Ayala Mall called Octagon. They referred me to the Octagon in S&M Mall. And I spoke with that man. He came up with the same solutions, which was basically zero. Saying the same thing that the stores in the BQ Mall in Tagbilaran talked about. Then I went to the ICM Mall in Tagbilaran, and that store also told me they have a list. It's like they have a list. So they all say 4 to 6 weeks, but when you push the issue, it goes 4 to 6 weeks plus the time it takes to get to their corporate store in Manila. They still require a 50% deposit. So I did go to one store in the ICM Mall and told them, order the computer. And they went through the process about 3 weeks ago. This is the store I'm talking about. They went through the process, and then they said the i7 is not available, only the i9, which brings up the price to 200,000 pesos. So I said, okay, order that. And they asked me for half the deposit. And when I went through the same process of questioning them when it would come, it was 4 to 6 weeks plus 3 to 5 weeks. So last week I went to the ICM Mall, and I went to a different store that I contacted originally May 28th. And that store said they were going to call me back after May 28th with the information. Well, I never received a text or an email or a phone call from that store. So I'm at a loss at this point as to how to get the computer. No one would agree to give them a 50% deposit. That's out of the question. So I pushed the issue about the 50% deposit a little further with two stores. And they both said the same thing. I said, if I give you the deposit, will you guarantee me that the computer comes in 30 days? And they said, no, they won't guarantee it. So I said, will you guarantee that I can get my money back in 30 days? Because my other option, of course, would be to go to Manila, but that's not possible because of the lockdown. So if I gave them the money, which is available, my subscribers bought me the computer, the money is in the bank. If I gave them the money, I asked recently, 3 days ago, would you give me back my money in 30 days? And the woman said yes. I said, so, okay, get a piece of paper, we'll write up a contract. And my contract was going to be very specific. I get my money back in 30 days, or you can take 1,000 pesos a day off the cost of the computer for every day I have to wait longer than 30 days for the computer, or until you give me back my money, which is an additional 1,000 pesos a day for penalties for not keeping your contract. So she said, I can write that up. And I said, okay, go get a pad. And she disappeared. Now, this is in one of my previous live streams. Well, she went to the main office in her store, and apparently someone else was calling corporate to find out if they could do that. And I waited about 10 minutes. And I said, this is ridiculous. It's a yes or no, and somebody can write the contract or not. So after 10 minutes, I left. Now, I also should note that in the two stores in Bohol that sell computers, in the ICM Mall, both of those stores were virtually empty. So they had no business. The second store with the woman I'm talking about had about 11 people working in the store, but no commerce or sales was being done. So, for whatever reason, well, we know what the reason is. No matter what anybody does to try to get me a computer, it's not possible. So, I'm serious about finding a computer. I'm not serious about giving anybody half a deposit. That's not going to happen. If you know of a store that's reputable, that I will keep my agreement. I might even give them a small deposit, 5,000 pesos. But I will not give them half a deposit, because apparently all the stores in Cebu, and there are more than just the Octagon in the Ayala Mall or their corporate headquarters. There are more than the stores in Cebu and in BQ and in ICM that are not able to get me the computer as promised. And I've gone to the city about 4 times to speak with people directly. In fact, one person, we have it, we're going to get it, we can get it. And when I went there, they said that man, I won't say his name, he's not here. I said, where is he? One person said he's out to lunch. Come back after lunch. So I went back after lunch, and I said, where is the man? And they said, he's not here, sir. Who else can help you? And so I got the manager. She was very nice. And I said, what happened to the man that I was speaking with for the last 3 weeks? This has been going on since the beginning of May. And she said, well, he doesn't work here anymore. So the people in the store didn't tell me that the man is no longer employed by the company. It's a giant runaround. Now, I don't know if there's going to be anybody serious on my live stream that's going to be able to help me, but I would like to purchase the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo. That's my dilemma. And I don't want to give anybody sign the contract I would write, because it would diminish the price of the computer if they signed it. They wouldn't probably adhere to the contract, and it would be nothing but a vacation if I did so on any other island. Now, how if they open up the lockdown, I'll just fly to Manila. Okay, so I did send out a post. So moving to the post and the thumbnail on the post, you're going to see 4 men in the thumbnail. That's a pre-show post. The 4 men. One is myself, and the other 3 men are 3 men I did business with since 1977, including the year 2019, last April. And in 40 years, 39 years, those 3 men that you see in the thumbnail of my post, not only have we become friends, not only were we friends, but any time I ever ordered anything from those 3 men, who have one of the biggest companies that I would order from for those supplies, anytime they promised me a date on something or that they could get something, it happened. Never did they ever say that I can remember that they ordered something and it wasn't available when I waited for the order. Because you got to remember, I had anywhere from 2 to 15 men working for me. And if I was supposed to get a load of lumber on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock and it showed up at 12, well, then I have 10 men and I'm paying them $10 an hour back in the 80s, $10 an hour, just sitting at $10 an hour. It's costing me $100 an hour to wait for that truck. But that never happened. Not with those 3 men. Other lumber companies I ordered from, it did happen. So there are people in this world that resource what's available when it's available and then promise you a date and keep their word. And there are other people that do not. So there is a big difference between the way business was transacted in America in the 80s and 90s and 70s than there is in today's world in the Philippines. I don't understand the discrepancy, but I will tell you it exists. So a company that I haven't talked about that I will talk about now is a huge computer company in Manila. And they have a Facebook page. I'm not going to name their Facebook page, but they have a chat window. And about, I guess somewhere around June 3rd or June 4th, I started chatting with someone on the chat window. Let me see. I'm going to read the comments. Scott Del Fuego. Whoa, we have wordsmithing going on here. I'm going to refresh the page. I can't get the mouse to work. I'm going to, okay. Mr. Fazio, Scott Del Fuego says, is a learned man, not from the classroom of a vapid college, but from the trials and tribulations, lessons and events of a life lived in technology, an exploration of America from top to bottom, from the seamy Florida Keys, of the world from New York City to a quiet beach in the Philippines, from hard manual work to an exploration of the denizens of our minds, our future, and of different worlds and different dimensions. You don't get this gift just anywhere. This is truly blessing. This is truly a blessing to enjoy the wisdom of Mr. Fazio. Now, Scott Del Fuego, thank you very much. He is he should be a writer, and I should have him write my autobiography. So thank you very much, Scott. Now, what Scott is talking about is that I have actually been in business since 1977, legitimate, legal commerce since 1977. Now, in that time, I have never had even one, never had even, or the Bureau of Commerce or the key law and the licensing department were pretty much the same thing. No one ever said that Michael Fazio took a deposit and didn't do the job. No one ever said that Michael Fazio took a deposit and didn't do the job he promised. No one ever said that. No one ever made a formal complaint against any company I've ever owned. Save one. So this happened in about 1977, and the material for the job came on the day that the material was supposed to be delivered to the job. It came to the lumberyard. It was literally called 2.5-inch longleaf yellow pine flooring. This is going back to 1977. It was an old porch off a house in Ozone Park, Queens, that in order to replace the floor, the porch was a wet porch that was not screened in. So the longleaf yellow pine had to be manufactured by a company that milled the lumber for me specifically. So it came on the day it was supposed to be delivered to the lumberyard, and then just a few hours later it went to the job, and I started the job, and I did the job, and I completed the job within like 2 days. It wasn't a big porch. It was only a couple hundred square feet, and it was already ripped up. I had plywood over the joists, and that woman couldn't wait in the morning. So in the morning, when the lumber didn't come, I was at the job stripping the nails off the joists. Apparently she didn't believe that I ordered the lumber, and she complained. That was my sole complaint in 38 years of doing business. And you won't find that anywhere on the record books. That was under my construction company, which was a corporate entity in 1977. But I make note of it because that is the sole complaint that I've had in 38 years of doing business. So I've never lied to my customers, although you hear stories about me telling fibs on YouTube. And those stories are not true. So I'm going to look for the comments. Hopefully someone was able to help me with this computer. Now, I will tell you, I'll take the Asus i7 or the Asus i9. Not yet. I'm not getting any response. So I could digress to what happens here in the Philippines and the way people view things here. They will tell you, for instance, once I ordered 50 sheets of plywood, and on the plywood it had a little sticker, and the sticker said marine grade plywood made in China. That stuff is just, it disintegrates after a couple of years. So with that order, I ordered over about 250 8-foot to 14-foot long 2x2s and 2x3s and 2x4s. So I ordered about 250 pieces of that, and it was supposed to come in cocoa lumber. And I paid for it at the lumberyard. And when the lumber came, it was something called Gemalaya, which is a completely different grade lumber because there was a moratorium on cocoa lumber. But the man didn't call me up and say, the lumber's coming, it's not the lumber we agreed on, and he didn't change the price, which would have been about 2 pesos less per lineal foot. So if you have 10-foot boards on average, that's 20 pesos a board times 250. So 10 would be 200. So about 2,500 pesos less the wood should have been. But there was no refund when I went to the lumberyard. He said, due to the fact that the cocoa lumber isn't available, we're going to still charge you the same price as the cocoa lumber. But that's not what the agreement was. And considering when I got the lumber order, the order came to the house. I called up the owner of the lumber yard. I have his cell number. He said, that's all we have. If you don't want it, you can send it back, but that's all we have, and we have no idea when cocoa lumber is going to be available. As it turns out, the cocoa lumber was not available for about 2 more months. There was a moratorium in the Philippines on cocoa lumber, all the Philippines. So I can tell you what the charges would have been if the lumber yards that were making cocoa lumber, chainsawing it down and milling it with chainsaws, it would have been to cut down a coconut tree in the year 2016 during the moratorium. Immediately, your equipment gets confiscated. Not mine, but the people that made the cocoa lumber boards. And you go to jail. And then there was whatever court fines. After that, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pesos in court fines. In fact, there was a tree cut down where I live in that area, and the moratorium had gone in effect, and the barangay said, don't touch the tree. It's against the law to touch the tree. Normally that tree, it got cut down for a specific reason, and they said, just don't touch the tree. And that tree laid there until it disintegrated into dust, because the people here know that if they would have went out, and normally the locals would have gone out and cut it up either for firewood or for wood for their house. The locals would have went out and dismantled the tree. They don't do that here. They know that if the barangay captain says don't do something, they just don't do it. So I had no choice but to take that lumber. But the man did not tell me a day or two in advance that the cocoa lumber wasn't available from his lumberyard. And I didn't really know who would have it. The other lumberyards that I reconnoitered before I went to that particular lumberyard had zero coconut lumber. So what had happened is everybody knew there was going to be a moratorium, and they bought all the cocoa lumber that was on the island of Bohol and Panglao. And then when my lumber was due, probably I gave him a date about 5 or 6 days after the moratorium started. By that time, all the lumber was gone. So did I have another complication where I used lumber that's very termite, prone to termites. We'll leave it at that. My friends know what I'm talking about. So I'll go back to the comments and see if someone knows how to get an Asus ZenBook computer. Now, I will also tell you, Big Kevin, welcome to the machine. Jack Thompson, my friend, hello. And Big Kevin, another friendly fellow on YouTube. A friendly fellow on YouTube with a great sense of humor, who runs a channel. Kind of reminds me of English humor. Big Kevin has not a dry sense of humor, but a delayed sense of humor. And then like 45 seconds later, he'll finish the sentence and it'll be humorous if you remember what he said and what it's in reference to. So welcome to the machine, Big Kevin. And Big Kevin has quite the following. And we all, Big Kevin and myself and 2 other channels, we all have basically the same subscriber base. Warren H., Scott Del Fuego, Blue Rose, Dennis, Adam, we all love Big Kevin. And the people that don't like Big Kevin are the same people that don't like me. And I don't care. I never cared, and I'm never going to care about that. So, okay, so I don't see an answer yet for, you would think, now, I'll digress back to my computer dilemma again. So there are other options. To buy the computer, Now, there's a company in America called B as in Bravo, H as in helicopter, B&H Camera Supply. I bought lots of stuff from them throughout my life. They're in New York City, very reputable company. So I went through the process of buying the computer on their website, and when it came time for the shipping, and I put the shipping address in, it was very simple. They don't ship to the Philippines. In addition to that, I called them up, and they don't, the Philippines will not validate a warranty if the computer wasn't purchased from a Philippine supplier. So if I could get somebody to buy it from B&H from me, I'd still have to pay an import fee plus shipping, and the warranty would be invalid. So if the computer broke, I could either pay for the warranty repair in the Philippines, which is unknowable, and it could be small or big, without sending the computer there and getting an estimate, or I could send it back to America and wait, 4 to 6 weeks for it to go round trip. No, that's not possible. So B&H is out, if that was going to be a suggestion, and also Newegg computer sales. Newegg, their process of sending to the Philippines is a little bit shady. Not that they do it like that, but they will ship it, but they won't guarantee delivery. So if someone, a neighbor, was to sign off for the computer and then I didn't get the computer, there's no insurance on the computer. Or if the driver dropped the computer and there was damage, it would have to go back. So that's just more complications that I've discussed before. I have some comments, and I see Stupid Chat. Okay, William Jenkins says, how about build it? William Jenkins says, it's what I do, man. William Jenkins, can you build an Asus Pro Duo dual screen, 4000 QLED touchscreen on the top and touchscreen with a matte finish on the bottom screen? I don't think you can do that with an i9 solid state drive and 2 terabyte internal. I think just Asus can do that. That's the computer that I'm looking for. We didn't start the fire, says Jack Thompson. Yeah, baby. We didn't start it, but somebody is going to wish that they didn't start it. Somebody will wish that. Pinoy Ahoy. I saw you on a show yesterday, Pinoy Ahoy, saying all people are welcome. William Jenkins says, okay, I can. But if you want that, how can you build an Asus computer like that? I'm not saying you can't, but I mean, how would you build it? Asus is the only one with the parts. And how could you possibly, I mean, I guess if I'm a jet mechanic, licensed A&P jet mechanic. So if somebody else built it, it's possible for someone to build something similar or identical. But to build an Asus computer from scratch, you would need their components. That wouldn't be price effective. I don't know where you're going with this, but you're offering, so William Jenkins, thank you very much, but I'm not going to take your offer. Warranty, there'd be no guarantee on the quality of the items put in the computer, but thank you very much, and that's enough commenting about the computer from you, please. Okay, thank you. All right, so thank you. Scott says hello to Pinoy Ahoy. So I saw Pinoy Ahoy saying all are welcome. Pinoy Hoy, I will tell you the same thing. Now, Pinoy Hoy is a wrench on my page because Pinoy Hoy has a great channel that he shouts out anybody who goes to his show. If you have a YouTube channel and you put a message on Pinoy Hoy show in the chat window, he will give you a shout out and then show you or show the audience your channel link, and your channel icon, your thumbnail. So yesterday I explained in a live stream, Pinoy Hoy, I don't have time to go to see most of the shows. I don't watch, pretty much I don't watch any more shows about the Philippines. And there's a reason for that. See, I have things that I do during the course of the day revolving around certain things that need to be performed, functions that need to be get done during the day. So I don't watch any of the girls' shows anymore. And I don't need to know what's on their shows. Whatever information they have has nothing pertaining to my life and what I do during the course of the day. As probably 9 people that are watching right now will attest to, that I sent them out emails this morning of what I have been doing and the life I saved yesterday. So what I do during the course of the day and what the shows in the Philippines are depicting has nothing to do with what I do during the course of the day. In fact, Jack Thompson should be given a big shout out because of Jack Thompson, a life was saved yesterday. And I'm not kidding about that. Warren H. will attest that in fact that happened. He watched the video when I sent it to him on Skype early this morning. So the reason I was there when that life was in jeopardy was because of a question that Jack Thompson asked me yesterday, and I was going to go out and take a picture. And when I went out and heard the picture, I heard screaming. So Jack Thompson is the person responsible for saving a life on June 17th of 2020 in the Philippines. Now, my friends that have had the opportunity to watch that, the actual process lasts about 5 minutes. It's all videotaped, all recorded, and in fact loaded to YouTube. And it was pretty interesting, and those people know I'm telling the truth. So as far as me being called a liar on YouTube, if I'm a liar, what are you? No, if I'm a liar, why doesn't someone take my challenges? Why? Why doesn't someone man up and plagiarize the content of my, find any part of my book that was written and publicly published, or published at all, even privately, find any concept in my book, any of the concepts in my book that were published with proofs that, but even the world's leading experts can't do that for the content of the book as nonfiction. So it's truth. Not only is the book written and what I say in the book is true, but the book is published as nonfiction. Or if I'm a liar about owning a house in Key Largo, we can make that challenge $1 billion. Or we can just keep it something reasonable at $10,000, that if you wager that I never owned a house in Key Largo, I will put up $10,000 and you will do the same, And when I show you the actual lease or the actual contract to buy the house and the actual ownership of the house with the tax records in Monroe County, Florida Keys, in Key Largo, then you will give me the $10,000 that your ignorance lost. Because I'm telling you, people on YouTube, that the person or persons or channels or comments that I never owned a house in Key Largo are false. Now, let's go another 10,000 that I've heard stories that I never owned a Formula SR 311 Ocean Racer with twin 454 naturally aspirated big block Chevy engines, 730 horsepower in the boat. The boat listed for about $150,000 new, and I paid less than that as a used item. But it was in new. It never saw salt water till it got to the Florida Keys in 2001. So there's another $10,000 challenge gone unanswered. And as far as the Cobra is, and I can show you the registration for the boat. So that's another $10,000 that your ignorance would lose. So the other challenge that has gone unanswered, of course, is that I have stated I bought a brand new Cobra in the showroom. From the showroom. It had 6 miles on it when it was delivered to the showroom. I can prove that with the paperwork from the Ford dealership in Miami. So these stories that you hear that I am posting false information on the internet are coming from an unreliable source. In fact, pretty much those 3 major $10,000 challenges that have gone unanswered prove that the source is not only unreliable, but they're ignorant for continuing to post the same information on the internet. Why, I don't know. I think it boils down to the level of ignorance, or maybe somebody just doesn't comprehend what's right in front of their face. 13 years I made videos from my house in Key Largo and my backyard. 9 years I made videos of my Ocean Racer. And 10 years I made videos with my Cobra Mustang in them. So anytime you hear somebody say those things are false, then you need to go back to the source of wherever you're getting your worthless information from and correct the channel owner or the commenter in the comment section of the vlogs that they're doing. Basically, I would say it would be a bad wager to wager against me on pretty much anything I state is a fact. So I'm going to go to my comments now, and let's get my glasses. And you know that if I have the fedora on, that I'm talking the truth. Oh my God, for the love of money and a good scam. Oh, just talking about the fedora and $2 appears on the screen. Okay, so let's go over here. Okay, so Pinoy Hoy, you shouting out to people on your channel, I think that's 2 thumbs up, baby. And I think it's a wonderful thing, but I will not watch other people, hundreds of people that Pinoy Ahoy shouts out. I have no time to watch those shows. Typically, I'm working between 3 and 5 to 7 hours a day doing things that are necessary to get done during the course of the day. And so if you want to shout out, Pinoy Ahoy does shout outs for any channel that has a channel, and he'll post your link and the name of your video on his shows his gadget. And he has a wrench on my channel because he's been my friend for several years. So he's an upstanding man that does an outstanding job for shout outs. He's the only person that does that I know of, and he provides a really cool service for the community of YouTube itself. So thank you, Pinoy Ahoy, for stopping by. Let's go to the next comment. Jack Thompson says NASA also said nobody else could build a rocket. And then Elon Musk, he did prove them wrong, didn't he, Jack? In fact, I think Robert H. Goddard, the father of modern rocketry, besides Werner von Braun, he also admitted that building a rocket would be possible, but building a safe rocket with a safe launching platform is a little bit more difficult than building the rocket. If you ever, I've been to, in Texas, they have the Kennedy, I think it's the Kennedy Space Center in Texas. I was back there, I had to deliver, guaranteed safe delivery and safe return. I worked for a company, and they would fly me with a person, and I would bring the person to a certain destination and then stay either with the person at that destination, or they would rent a hotel room for us. And then I would have a return ticket with the person, all expenses paid. So I brought a particular person to a family in Texas, and we went to the Kennedy Space Center, I think it was called. And they had the rockets available for you to see. And they also had the displays of how rockets work. And they had these little video cameras where the rockets were. They're pretty complicated. I wouldn't remember how they work, but I remember that they're real complicated. There are so many different things that take place to get the fuel from where it's stored to the burner. And then the cones, they rotate on hydraulic pistons, and it's all computerized. It was pretty cool, but it's pretty complicated. But Elon, I think it's Elon Musk. Is he the one, or is that Virgin Atlantic? Might be Virgin Atlantic. I don't watch those kind of videos. They don't have anything to do with me. Occasionally I'll watch one. So it's either Elon Musk or Virgin Atlantic is building. Now they're supposed to be building from just a quick blip I saw on YouTube. Now they're supposed to be building rockets. So maybe that's what Jack is talking about. So let's get back, and maybe somebody figured out how to that fella. What was that fella's name that built the computers? William Jenkins. William Jenkins. Why? Maybe you could help me by finding somebody that can get me an Asus ZenBook Pro Duo, if you're still here. Yes, that's true, Warren. For the love of money and a good scam. Oh, I run the best scams on YouTube. Everybody knows that. In fact, Warren saw my bank account, where the monies that was sent to me were immediately deposited into my bank account. Because Warren and I are now going to be partners in the hotel industry in the Philippines. So, and considering Warren and GE Northcote donated the lion's share of the money for the computer, as it turns out, yesterday or the day before, the money's in the bank, but it's not doing me any good. I just refuse to give somebody in the Philippines 100,000 pesos on a promise that had they promised the exact amount of time right from the get-go, like, so we have to order it from Manila, and Manila has to order it from their supplier, and it might be several additional weeks from the 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe that would have been acceptable, but they all lie. They all lie. They tell you 4 to 6 weeks, and when you push the issue, they tell you an additional 3 to 5 weeks, perhaps. But if they're not right up front with all the truthful information, I'm not interested in doing business with these people. It's way simpler. And then each person, I'll digress, each person that I spoke with at the S&M Mall and the Ayala Mall and in the BQ Mall and in the ICM Mall, each person said their supplier in Manila had it in stock. What does that mean? We should discuss what it means to have something in stock. It means that if you have something in stock, like let's say I wanted to order a pair of these glasses. If you have these in stock, you call the company up and say, do you have that in stock? And they say, yes. You say, okay, go to the stock room, get the stock out of the stock room, put it on the counter. Take a picture of the box and the serial number on the box and the model number. Show it to me. Well, they won't do that because when they say they have it in stock here in the Philippines, it means that they made a phone call to another supplier that can get it to them. But you got to remember, this lockdown is causing the problem. So what if the lockdown that causes the 4 to 6 wait from Manila to Bohol is affecting the supplier that sends it from wherever it's coming from? No one will tell me where it's coming from. But what if there's another 4 to 6 weeks? We're talking about 8 weeks minimum, maybe to 10 or 12 weeks. Why they lie to you about that, then what else are they lying to you about? Plus, it seems that even on Lazada, when I ordered it, it's not available. So Lazada will tell you that item is available, the i7. So I ordered it. Buy now. No. When you get to the checkout, it flashes that the item is not available, or before you get to the checkout. Then if you Google the i9, it says that's available. And then when you go buy this item now, it tells you the item is not available. So Lazada has been absolutely useless on this. I've not got past the item is not available. And it always shows you that there's only one available to begin with. So the item could have been available 20 minutes ago, but it's not available anymore. Or it could just be false advertising to get you to go to their website, because what they do is they give you other options. So if you can't buy this item, this is available. Well, it's not what I want. So William Jenkins, where are you with your, if you're going to give me assistance? So Scott Del Fuego says his son, his 14-year-old son, just built a super power gaming computer. Got it working perfectly. I will have to let him build my next one. More bang for the buck in the USA, Michael. I get it. Probably would prefer a brand name and warranted unit in that circumstance, says Scott Del Fuego. Well, there's a reason for that, Scott. Okay. There are 3 reasons. All right. The first reason I want the Asus is because I've had an Asus since 2011, and it was built in 2010, and I've really not had a lot of problems with it. Had some, but Warren helped me correct those problems. So, number one, that's a computer that I see doesn't have a lot of problems. The second reason is I bought a new Lenovo and I bought a new Acer, and both of them I took home, and both of them didn't work right from the box. As soon as I got them home, the Acer, I remember what the problem was. To copy and paste a file from an external hard drive at the showroom where I bought the Acer in the BQ Mall, it copied and pasted a 2 gig video upload file. No problem. But when I got it home, I grabbed 50 gigs of files to move from my old computer that I had stored on my external hard drive, and I grabbed 50 gigs to put it on the new computer. Excuse me. And the computer just froze up solid. I mean, it just went like that, and nothing. You couldn't press escape, didn't change anything, and you couldn't press the other three buttons. You figure out what those other three buttons are. I know what they are. You couldn't press those other three buttons and unfreeze the screen. And it's in the Windows book, how to use Windows, that this should remedy that problem, but it didn't. And the Lenovo had a battery issue. So that why am I paying what you ask for full price, and you're selling me a computer with a battery issue that you know about, and that I'm going to pay you for your product when it's faulty? So I've bought computers that brought them home that didn't work, and if I have somebody build one, like this William Jenkins man, who's going to fix it? Asus won't fix it, and the computer technicians that sold me those computers, two different men, they won't fix it because they couldn't fix a simple problem in my Asus computer. Their solution, going back 4 years ago, their solution to my problem with my Asus computer was to buy a new computer. So I did buy a new computer. I did buy the brand new Acer, A-C-E-R. And that computer lasted 0 minutes. The first thing I grabbed was 50 gigs of videos, and it froze the computer up. So I had to shut the computer down, hard close it down. And then I did it again, and I grabbed another 50 gigs, and it did it again, and then I shut it down, and then I did it again, and it shut it down, and I called up the company, and I says, I'm bringing it back, and they said, okay. And their solution to me spending 39,000 pesos for the computer that didn't work was, so we don't have another item like this. Well, I don't want another item like that. I want my money back. No, sir. We will give you another computer. So I said, okay, show me the computer. So that computer was 49,000 pesos. That was 10,000 pesos more. So I said to the woman, you're going to give me that computer instead of the other one? Yes, sir. It's okay. And she goes, okay, you'll have to add 10,000 pesos to your original price. I'm going, oh, no. I don't want to spend 49,000 pesos for a computer. I want you to give me the 49,000 peso computer for 38,000 pesos, considering I spent an entire day with your technician yesterday and 3 hours the day before. I would like you to give me the higher valued computer for the same price. No, sir. We cannot do that. I said, okay. So then, can I have my money back? No, sir. What do you mean? It says it on the contract, 7-day full money back guarantee. Yes, sir. But that's only if we can't provide you with another computer. Well, you can't. You can't get me the 39,000 peso computer, because one additional piece of information I forgot to tell you is that in 2000, I guess it was 17, when I bought the Acer computer. You had to see the process. They had it. They presented it like it was on a silver platter. They took the box and they brought it in. They had two hands, like they were serving you prime ribs of beef at a high-end 5-star restaurant. And here is your computer, sir. Here's the box it's in. Notice that the box is sealed all the way around. That didn't impress me much. Open the box. So they opened the box, and then it was in a black like a visqueen bag, 100% airtight, one of those space-age plastics that, vacuum wrapped, and it had no air in it, so no moisture would get in. And the fella took the technician, he took his little scissors and he cut right across the top of the bag, perfectly scissored the top of the bag off, and they slipped the computer okay, come on, let's get on with this. You're not delivering a baby. And so he took it out and they plugged it in, and I said to them, open up your internet, and I'd like to see you punch the serial number into that computer. So they plugged in the computer and they got Wi-Fi, and they pushed the serial number in, and it said the computer was built in 2012, I think it was. So the computer was already 4 years old, and it didn't work. So to get my money from them was a hassle. I can't even tell you how much conversation took place. So don't give people money in advance in the Philippines unless they have the product on the table that you're going to buy, and then you want to pay it off, leave them a deposit and come back. But other than that, I would say giving people in the Philippines money in advance, if they tell you 3 different stories after you push the issue, probably wouldn't be a person you'd want to do business with. Now, I just sent another message to someone that Warren watched me contact via the chat window. It's going back 8 or 9 days now. Never has he sent me back a response when he said he was going to send it back. So his guaranteed response was to be on Tuesday. Now, today's Friday. I've sent them 3 or 4 messages since Tuesday, and I still haven't received a response from him. So this is what you get here in the Philippines. So I'm going to go back to the comments. Thank you, Warren. And okay, so the third reason William Jenkins, I don't have even one app for a game on my computer. And the third reason that I wouldn't buy a home-built computer and I want an Asus computer is because there's an actual Asus repair, a legitimate Asus repair center in Tagbilaran. So you just bring the computer to the Asus, it's a legitimate, legal Asus repair center. They don't do anything. If it doesn't say Asus on it, they don't even look at it. So it's a factory warranted service center. So I would not even have to put it in a box, where the Acer computer, I don't know how that would work, but there is no Acer repair in Bohol. And I do know that it might be, I don't want to ship my computer out in a box. I just don't want to do that. I don't care how long they promise it to go there and back. It's another trip. It's a trip to the city to put it in the box. And then it's at least an hour in the store to mail it. And mailing now, to mail a computer with a battery in the computer is not allowed. You're not even allowed to, I can't even mail my GoPro with a battery in it. So you would have to take the battery out and it would go to the service center without a battery. But the service center requires a battery. So they'll buy a battery for you at the service center, put it in there. And somehow they could ship it back, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to ship. So you can't ship and Asus has a repair. So, and I don't play games. I've never, that there are, whatever the last 150 famous games that you play on a computer, whatever they are, Game Boy, Mario Brothers, World of Witchcraft, or World of Warcraft, or Battleship. I've never, ever, not even one time, ever, never have I gone to even see what it looks like. I've never watched a video, even 10 seconds of a video, unless there was a commercial and it was in the video, but on the commercial. But I don't play games on computer. I never did. My time here is more important than a game on the computer. So let's go back to the comments. Scott Del Fuego says everyone in the pool. So now which pool is that? The one, you know, Scott, I got some bad news yesterday. Warren told me, okay, I have another question. This is a serious question. Anybody that's here. Warren explained to me that Qantas Air from Australia is not going to have commercial flights. Or was it Philippines Airlines from Australia is not going to have commercial flights from Australia to the Philippines, maybe until October. So what we decided to do was, when I'm done with this live stream, I'll look also. We're going to need a private aircraft company, a company that shuttles people privately from Australia to the Philippines. Could be a 6-passenger or 10-passenger turboprop, a corporate jet that wants to rent out one seat. And Warren is coming to the Philippines via a private corporate turboprop or a private corporate jet. They're not that much more expensive than a first-class ticket on a commercial passenger aircraft, large capacity aircraft. So we're looking for the names of an airline that will shuttle Warren H. from Australia to the Philippines. And that's a serious inquiry. So I should be able to find one easy enough. You should be able to actually Google something like that, especially with the quarantine. I would imagine there are several private airports that will do that. Even though you still might have to go in quarantine for 14 days, we have a place to put Warren for 14-day in-house quarantines. That's not a problem. So maybe somebody that's watching my live stream will know of an airline, and probably I will get in touch with the Big E, and he might know somebody because he works for an extremely large company. So we're going to look at different venues, and I think that we'll find somebody by the end of the week. And the Warren's passport is being processed now, and when the passport is processed and we find an airline to shuttle Warren from Australia to the Philippines, well, then that's going to happen. Unless there's some other complication, medical or perhaps international incident that stops Warren from coming. He is coming to the Philippines, one way or the other. He does have things to do here. Warren did see the video that I, in fact, saved a life yesterday, and I am not kidding about that. Anybody that will watch that video will know that, in fact, a real life was saved yesterday, and I'm not going to post it on YouTube. As Jack Thompson, his finger is broke. Jack Thompson now Jack Thompson, the reason that the life was saved, digressing back, Jack Thompson asked me to do a specific video today about the throne of knowledge. And because I went and was reconnoitering for the perfect throne of knowledge for the video, I heard the screams. And I saved. If had I not walked past that particular part of the Philippines, that I would imagine by now that life would have been exhausted. So that was pretty cool, though. It was more cool that I was videotaping at the time, and I got the whole thing on camera, including the hugs and the kisses at the end of the. It was an amazing thing. So thanks for watching those videos. And Jack Thompson, you saved a life. I just assisted. I'm living the life, says Scott Fuego. I am living the life. So, the life. The life. Source of the lies perpetrated against Michael Fazio. And because of space, Scott Del Fuego couldn't post it. It says, source, the source of the lies. Your claims have been checked and found lacking. You are deemed a liar and an enemy of the machine. Surrender your access to YouTube or face the consequences. You have been warned, from Scott Del Fuego. Who are these damn cult members that keep super chatting the professor? Yeah, baby. And I don't understand why. I have the fedora on. You know that if the fedora is on, the scam is running. Continuous. Like the flea that runs the Philippines internet, according to Warren H. Thank you, Jack Thompson. In fact, you know where we're going, Jack. You know that. You know that. You know that. We are halfway there. Look at what's happened. This spoon is having a little bit of a conundrum. It knows which way to go. This spoon has earned, see this spoon? This spoon has earned more money than most YouTubers. This spoon. Because this spoon, in connection, as a team, they're a team now. They have earned more money than most Philippines bloggers on YouTube in super chat and super stickers. Just want you to know that a little spoon like this has earned several $1,000s. More than that, but I don't want to, I want to keep it a modest several $1,000s. But this spoon, now I could probably, what I could do is auction off this spoon to the highest bidder. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna go over to my kitchen counter and get the quote, the block of wood. And I'm going to tell you what the block of wood is worth. And I might one day, not now, not today, I might have an auction. And I will put the spoon up on the auction block of wood. Let me go get that piece of wood. Now, we estimate that piece of wood that I'm about to go get is worth somewhere around 3,000 Australian dollars. But I have the auction. I'll probably set a low limit at, say, $10 for the block of wood, because it's just a block of wood. So I might set the minimal bid at $10 for the block of wood and $10 for the spoon. Okay, I could probably, so for $20 plus shipping, I could let these two go, if that remains the minimum bid. But the auction is not going to take place today. We're going to wait on that. So let me get the block of wood. I'll be back. I can see it from here. I'll be back in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are back. So this block of wood, this innocuous block of wood, has an estimated value of approximately 3,000 Australian dollars. So if when the auction takes place, this is a coconut lumber. If when the auction takes place, I'll put the spoon or the spatula, actually it's a spatula, I'll put the spatula on the block like that. And then I'll put a price tag, minimum bid $20. They go as a team. And when I get that $20, I will go to the store and I'll plus the shipping, $20 plus the shipping. And I'll just go get another block of wood from the junk pile. I have lots of blocks of wood. I could make a fortune selling these blocks of wood for $10 a piece. I could run a legitimate scam selling small blocks of wood. You realize the potential? I could start another, what was the name? Pet wood. Want a piece of pet wood? Pet wood, $10 a pop. I could become YouTube's greatest pet wood salesperson. I could make about 500 or 600 of these in a few hours. It would take longer to put the labels on these bad boys. I'm telling you, boy, the scams are endless here. So Warren LaRue, my friend LaRue, she's the most vibrant Filipina in all of the Philippines blogging community. LaRue Segrest is the most vibrant and most bubbly, high-spirited Philippines blogging woman of any Philippines woman on the internet. There is nobody that comes close to the energy level and the high-spirited, positive attitude that LaRue Segrest puts out there. So, and LaRue is also very religious, and she knows about religion, and she loves religion. So if you're going to think about going to her channel and saying something stupid, that's not going to happen. So if you really just want to watch a really, really vibrant, upbeat, high-spirited YouTuber, LaRue Segrest is the person to go see. And I have Jack Thompson to thank for turning me on to LaRue. And she just is such a happy person. I mean, you don't run across people as happy as LaRue often. And I'm glad I met her. Thank you for stopping by, LaRue. And we had a nice conversation. She also will travel around on the different YouTube channels. This morning, her and I met on the Dennis Adam channel. Dennis Adam was live streaming a party occurring in the parking lot across from wherever he was filming. And there was people playing. They played Black Sabbath on the music that was being played on the live stream, Black Sabbath War Pigs. And then there was a commercial. And then they played Floyd. I'm going, wow, that's like a music channel from America. And it is. It's a music channel from America. I like Black Sabbath. I always like Black Sabbath. And I love Pink Floyd. So, and in fact, if you'll notice, I have a pink shirt on. And I wear, I have a pink bicycle seat, and I have a pink work vest. And I painted, where's my wallet? I painted my wallet pinkish orange. Same way I paint like my tools, my the tools that operate the screen. I paint a lot of stuff pink because it's easy to be seen if you're wearing pink. When you walk down the block, if you have a dark blue or a gray shirt, you blend right into the background of the street. If there's a little bit of sun in somebody's eyes and you have a gray shirt on with a gray background, it's hard for them to see you. So I wear my New York City department. I'll show it to you. When I go to the city, I wear this vest and my pink shirt. So hold on, let me get the. It's a Department of Environmental Protection Agency vest. I got this from the head of the Department of the Environmental Protection Agency. So this is my New York City DEP vest. I have two of these. One is still new, and this one has been wearing it for about a year and a half. So I wear this vest with the pink shirt, and then it makes it simple for people to see you when you're walking around. And in the city, there's a lot of traffic, and the reason it doubles as a safety measure is because I'm going to give you people a piece of information. I'm going to give you a piece of information. It could save your life. Could save your life. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not kidding. If you're walking around in any city, any street, especially a city street, in the whole of the Philippines, you need to do two things. Three things. Number one, where did it go? Take your cell phone. Take your cell phone and put it in your pocket and don't use it when you're walking around the streets in the Philippines. Now, if you think I'm kidding you, I'm going to explain to you why, and then if you fall down, that's your problem. That's not my problem. But take the cell phone, put it in your pocket or your vest or your bag or wherever you think it's best service to put your cell phone, and don't look at your cell phone when you're walking through the streets in the Philippines. There are holes in the streets of Cebu that you could literally walk down a standard sidewalk and an entire flag, that's FLAG, an entire flag of concrete 5 feet by 5 feet is missing, not there. It might never have built the sidewalk years ago, before you're walking on it. That flag was supposed to have a street lid or a street drain in that flag of concrete. Well, they never got to putting the flag in with the holes for the vent for the septic. So when you're walking down the sidewalk, the entire flag is missing, 5 feet by 5 feet. It's not there. And when you look down, it's a 6-foot drop into 18 inches of sewer water. I'm not kidding you about this. I have videos of this on YouTube. So the flag is missing, and you riding a bicycle or walking down the sidewalk and you walk into this hole where you fall into 18 inches of septic sewer water, plus whatever else is down there, an old bicycle, plastic milk crates, rocks. You think I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. That's the easy ones to spot. So if you're holding your cell phone, or texting, you can walk into a hole 5 foot by 5 foot by 6 foot, no problem. But then there are thousands, tens of thousands of holes in the street that you can fall down into, or your leg, your foot can fall into, or your bicycle tire will get wedged in, the bicycle will stop and you'll keep going. So you don't text and walk in the Philippines. And the third reason that you wear the vest is because at certain times of the day, the morning and the afternoon, the sun is in the driver's eyes. And to complicate that, the jeepneys and a lot of the cars, or certainly the tricycles, don't have windshield washers with fluid in them. So the windshield might be a little dusty. And they don't see, you can't see that well. Now, I'll give you this, the truth is the drivers in the Philippines are as good as it gets. They're about the best drivers I've ever seen. Minimal amount of accidents, minimal amount of casualties, but the fact remains that I've never seen a jeepney with a windshield wiper that had fluid squirt up on the window. Never. Now, of course, the new ones do. The last 2 years, there are new ones. But the typical jeepney in the Philippines, so it's dusty. They're looking through a dusty window. The streets are dusty, and it's not dust. It's septic water dried onto the tarmac, and then the solids from the septic water is the dust that you're breathing. But that's another issue. And it's hard for them to see, and they'll do the best they can with a dry rag. But I wear this vest and or some bright color, either this pink shirt or I have other yellow shirts. So that's the reason I wear these brightly colored things. And I don't wear this brown hat. Got the fedora back on. So while I have the fedora back on, I'm going to put, you know that this is going to happen. Not today. The auction for this block and the auction block itself and the spatula will be auctioned off sometime in the near future. The next time I need money for something, I might bring that up as right now I don't need any more money. Thank you. So let's go back to the comments. Warren H. says, Jack Thompson says, who are these damn cult members that keep super chatting the professor? I have been called the professor. In fact, it's documented. That's a documented and legitimate name that which people call me. Now, I've never called myself the professor, but other people have been noted, documented, time-stamped, and like that. So, source. Okay, so who are? And then Warren says, the lies about Michael have evolved from he gave advice to NASA, now being he flew into outer space and navigated other galaxies. What a liar that unfamous blogger probably should have said is. And that's probably true, Warren. So Warren H. goes on after LaRue's Good Morning host, and like me for you, we watch each other's show. Warren H. goes on and says, I've seen Michael's Cobra Rego, his boat Rego, his insurance papers for his house in Key Largo, plus video of Michael using his stuff. But the lies keep on coming. It's an amazing thing. LaRue says, shout out, thank you, Warren. Well, I mean, if the challenge is, if 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 someone has the balls to make up a lie, why don't they have the balls to take the challenge and take my money? Take my money. Challenge, take the challenges and take the money, honey. LaRue says, shout out to all who are here. Thank you, LaRue. LaRue Segrest, if you're not familiar with her channel, she's a Filipino woman that upbeat, upstanding, very religious, very, very, very energetic blogger. The most energetic blogger I've ever seen. I could say that. And that's, she runs a Filipina channel and she talks about topics regarding the Philippines, and she talks English and her native languages. So if you go there and you talk English, she can respond in English. So that's a good channel if you want to see a different segment of the Philippines. Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson. Wait a second, Warren H. Are you telling me that Michael has never been in space? I can tell you that I've never been in space. Launched with a physical rocket. Never happened. So Jack and Warren are saying hello to LaRue Segrest. Yes, okay, Warren answers the question. It's Elon Musk with his SpaceX ride. See, I wasn't sure if it was Elon Musk or Virgin Atlantic, because I don't watch that kind of video. I have no interest in space at all, other than the fact that they tell stories about space that they can't prove. I have no interest in who's making rockets, how much they're charging the government. One thing, I only know something about Elon Musk. The one thing I know about him, well, I know a lot of things about him, but recently I read an article that he wants to put, if I remember correctly, 45,000 satellites into space to bind up the 5G network worldwide and globally. That is the already there are, I think, 18,000 orbiting satellites. Like, I'm going to believe that. And now he wants to put 45,000 more up there. They have a plan. I don't know what's in their plan exactly. I can only speculate, but it's a lot more complicated than the 5G network they use as the mask on this plan they have. Warren says it's Elon Musk with his space-age rockets, etc. LaRue Segrest. Hello, dear friend Jack Thompson. I am somewhere looking for you. Jack and LaRue, they have a very close bonded relationship from watching LaRue's channel for several years now. Probably Jack has turned me on to LaRue last year, so Jack was watching LaRue long before I was. I knew of LaRue, but Jack is an avid viewer of the LaRue Segrest channel. So they're up. Dennis Adams appears. Welcome to the machine, Dennis Adam. Thank you for stopping by. So Dennis Adam is a YouTuber that has a channel, and his specific forte is the Harman coal stoves, H-A-R-M-A-N, Harman or Harmon, H-A-R-M-O-N, Harman coal stoves, with the additional information of how to stoke, S-T-O-K-E, how to stoke a coal stove, how to build a proper storage bin in the basement of your home, and how coal is delivered. And then I think, if I remember correctly from Dennis's videos, there are two different types of coal: bituminous coal and I might be pronouncing that wrong, and another kind of coal, but and then there's, maybe it's charcoal and bituminous, but I have to apologize. I don't remember the name. But Dennis Adams, if you have a coal stove and you heat your house with coal, Dennis Adams gives you the price of coal, where he lives, how it's delivered, how big the trucks are, how long it takes to unload the trucks, and video of the trucks unloading the coal using these long steel chutes, like like the cement that comes out of a cement truck. They have these long flat bins. They're like 20 inches wide with like 5-inch sides, and the coal just slides down that those chutes. Even if the chute is a very not such a steep angle, like I don't know what the degree of the angle was, but I found it interesting. Even if it's only like a 20-degree angle, the coal is so hard, and also the coal has dust on it from being dropped in the truck and worked, crushed down into the size, that the coal just slides down this chute at a phenomenal rate. I think he loaded 6 yards of coal in 20 minutes down a chute that if you would have said, will the coal flow down that chute, I would say I don't know. But it did. So if you're thinking about getting a coal stove to heat your house in the wintertime, or you want to know about the different types of coal, or how to maximize stoking a coal stove at night, Dennis Adams' channel, that's his specialty, is coal stoves. So thanks for stopping by, Dennis. Jack is asking, LaRue, did you hear me whistling as you walked by, LaRue? LOL. And LaRue is saying hello to Warren H. Okay, William Jenkins. I want a ZenBook because it has 2 screens. It's the ZenBook. It's called the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo, and it has 2 screens in QLED 4000 resolution on the top screen and 1920 pixels on the bottom screen. Both screens are touch screens, and I want that so that I can do video editing, both those screens, to answer your question. And only Asus makes a dual screen computer. Now there's another computer company that makes a screen that folds open like a hinge. I don't want that. I want the Asus with the screen on top, screen on the bottom. And why Intel? Because that's how it comes. So I don't know. I know that you said you're out of work for 3 months because of this nonsense. I don't know you, William Jenkins, but I will tell you that a lot of people lost a lot of money during this lockdown, this what's going on in America and the rest of the world. You are not the only person. I just don't complain. The veranda, and I just love when it rains really hard like that. All right, so here we are. Jack to happen. Page High. Thank you for stopping by, Page High. Wow, Blue Rose is here too. Oh my God, yeah. William Jenkins. So let's go back up to the comments. Oh, no, I cannot order it. I don't know the answer to that, Scott. I don't actually know the answer to that question. Amazon is the one place I didn't check. But again, That's a great idea. I'm going to have to check that. Hold on a second, but I don't know what their policy is for that. All right, let me get to where the comments, where I was. Marvelous Mark, the King of the Dark, is in the house. Okay, I'm going to have to go through a lot. This fellow, William Jenkins, he sure was making a lot of comments. Jack got fed up with that nonsense. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, he wasn't really adding to the conversation. When I asked him where to buy one, then there was like 6 more questions that had nothing to do with answering my questions, which is why I never responded to him after that. Tommy says, hi, Super Mike. They want to sell you dreams everywhere. They pretend they don't know you. I experienced a few times this situation. It's true. Warren says he'll stay with the chickens in the trees for 14 days. There's a bunch of chickens in the tree next door to my house. God. At night, you can go, you shine the light on the tree, there might be 40 or 50 chickens in the tree. I didn't know that chickens lived in trees at night, wild chickens or free-roaming chickens, but that's where they stay at night. And I'm talking 40, 50, 60 chickens in a tree, in one tree. Wow, William Jenkins was just off the chain there for a while. What the hell does he have to talk about? Yeah, I guess, in fact, what the hell is he talking? Yeah, okay. You know, somebody should go to his channel and just block him. That'll be the end of that. Marvelous Mark is a fence jumper from the man who says things that aren't true. Just in case anybody doesn't know exactly who Marvelous Mark is. You're welcome, LaRue. You are a sweetheart. You always were, and you always will be. That's just the nature of your being. Pink can also be favorite of some male, but most likely it is feminine's favorite color. Yeah, but I like the group called Pink Floyd, and but pink is a very loving color. It's a very warm, welcoming color for both men and women, LaRue. We have a different point of view in America about colors. Not all colors are masculine or feminine, but your point is well made, but from your perspective. But in America, I painted tools pink my whole life, yellow, pink, orange, anything bright, because it's easy to be seen. Now, Paige High, welcome to the machine, Paige High. If you're still here, I looked this morning for your email. I still haven't received it, but Canny Ford, if you are here, your email was sent out according to your Patreon address, email address, the Gmail address that you had on Patreon. So Canny Ford did receive the 100+ videos. When he super chatted me yesterday, I promised him I'd send those out. They went out three hours ago. They went out, so you should have them in your mailbox. And Paige High, if you do remember and you have time and you send me your email address, I will send you those videos as well. And I'm right about the cell phones. Yeah, I'm right about that. In fact, I always tell people, don't use the cell phone and drive. And now that's a $300 ticket in New York if you get caught driving and punching keys on a cell phone. It causes a lot of accidents. Might be one of the most prevalent things that cause accidents: talking or texting on a cell phone. I don't know if there's anything that causes more accidents, but cell phones and walking when you're using a cell phone is very dangerous. Thank you for confirming that, Dr. Page High. Thank you. I know, Warren says, I know a guy with almost pink hair. He does not need a vest. He's highly visible, viz already. So I know there's a lot of people that think that Warren made a mistake with the word viz, but that comes from Warren and I talking about scuba diving together when he comes to the Philippines. And viz, V-I-S, is a word that divers use. High or pilots or people that co-pilots or navigators. It's high viz, low viz, no viz, 5 mile viz, 20 foot of viz, 6 meter viz, VIS. So it's a short for how far visual, how far you can see. So being that Warren and I were talking about diving, that was last night, not this morning. And he used the word viz because he's a diver. Warren and I have that in common. People want to know why Warren and I get along so well. The primary reason I get along well with certain, or all the people I get along well with, is because I don't lie to my friends. In fact, I choose not to lie in life. If I don't want to put a piece of information out there, like if you ask me my children's names, first and last, middle, I won't tell you that. I don't care how many people say, oh, I love it. I don't give a shit about the people that want personal information from me. I might say something completely off the chain. None of your business. If it's none of your business, it's none of your business, none of your business. So what I might say is something that will, you know, that might not be true if you ask me my children's name. But I don't care what you think about whether or not I tell the truth. What I do care about is when you tell me that I'm a liar and I want to wager you $10,000 and you're afraid to take those challenges because you know two things. You know, number one, you can't afford to take the challenge and lose, and number two, your ego would be bruised because you have posted over multiple times in just a very recent video that I lied about certain things, when in fact all of those things are provable. So wager the $10,000 and take my money, or lose the money and have your ego damaged. And that's probably would be the case. Your ego would be damaged. And in fact, you'll have none of that. Therefore, you will not accept my $10,000 legitimate legal challenges. None of them. None of them. Zero will you take. And to those people out there that are friends and followers of channels who put false stuff up on their videos and their commentaries and stuff like that, you are also welcome to take the $10,000 Fazio challenges. You are all welcome to do so. Even multiple people on a single particular item. Find some major thing I said that I own: house, car, boat, barge, cranes. Find some major thing, the book, the publishing of the book, that it's not plagiarized. Find some major thing that I've put out challenges on, and multiple people come in and take the challenge. And I'll take all your money all at once. It'll save me the trouble of traveling to different places to take the money. I will take the money will be put in escrow in the hands of a lawyer, and when the challenge is either proven or disproven, the winner takes the money, by the way. It's not going to be, I'll owe it to you. No, you will not owe anything to me. You will put the money in escrow with a legitimate lawyer, and we'll pay them their service fees, whatever it is, and then the winner takes all. But, of course, Not going to happen for the two reasons I just stated. Number one, most people can't afford to lose $10,000. And secondly, their ego would be bruised. And that is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody in real life, to have their ego bruised after many, multiple slanderings and libelous statements against me. To have that proven to be false would be a damaged ego. So take your pick. Like my grandpa Frank used to say, and my grandfather's name was Frank, and I remember him saying it to my brother. My grandpa Frank said, "Get either shit or get off the pot." And that was a very famous saying in my grandpa Frank's house. Either shit or get off the pot. Paige High. I one of my favorite hats is a big brim hat about this big, like 18, 19 inches. And that's when I got to fly the turboprop from the island of Aruba. I didn't take off or land, but I flew straight and level. From the island of Aruba to Bonaire, they let me in the cockpit, and I got to fly straight and level just for a few minutes. They put me in the right seat. So I have a picture of me in the cockpit there. Scott Del Fuego says, I bought a nice pink Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, it's a bright color. In the Florida Keys, many houses were painted pink. There were pink cars. There were pink down in Key West and in Big Pine Key. There were whole entire storefronts painted pink. It's a beautiful color. It's a nice warm color that says, come in, we're open for business. Scott Del Fuego. So are you going to make fun of Scott's pink shirt? No, you probably, if you made fun of Scott's pink shirt, he would probably say something that would damage your ego. And that's just not going to happen. In fact, while we're talking about damaged egos, let me get you my newest playlist that I highly recommend. So I have to go to my homepage. My mouse froze up. Hold on. My mouse is going on and off. It's not working. I'll wait a little while. Maybe it'll go back on. Scott says, and this is true. This is more truths from Scott. Not only does he have a nice pink shirt, but he understands that you can go into a lot of shops that sell items that shoot projectiles from the front of those items at 1,100 feet a second, and you can buy a matching pink .45 caliber projectile shooter thing, you know. Okay, so you should get matching pink .45s. Well, you can't get them here in the Philippines, but if you go into a good projectile shop in America, you can get that. In fact, Scott says, believe it or not, there was a YouTube guy that used to wear pink glasses. So effeminate. Okay, so I'm not recalling that exactly who that was, but maybe somebody will post a picture of that if they have a screenshot, put it in a thumbnail so I could refresh my memory. So Paige High said, I fell hard in Makati. That's an upscale neighborhood. In a nice area right beside Trump Makati. Okay, so we know that's the high-end part of the Makati city. And Dr. Paige High fell. And I was going to stop and make a video just the other day. It's a gray sidewalk. In the middle of the sidewalk, not even at where the building line starts and stops. The sidewalk, you would go to jail in America to float a new piece of concrete to an old piece of concrete like this. And why they did it, I don't know. But the sidewalk where I was walking on the way to the immigration was here, and it was floated. It was probably a year or so old. And the other sidewalk was here, 2¼ inches higher. This is gray concrete, and this is gray concrete. And that's it. That instead of just sloping it up, you know, like feathering in from 36 inches away, I would feather from a 2¼ inch upgrade like that. I'd feather it about 36 inches, a nice smooth feather. And I've done a lot of concrete work, so I know that that would be, you'd be able to feel the incline, but it wouldn't be affecting your stepping. Like, let's say there was a plastic cup on the sidewalk that got smashed down, and you put a 2½ inch incline down like that. Well, that on that plastic cup, you could slip. But if you had a 36 inch feather, you'd just walk over the cup. It wouldn't slide, make your feet slide. I can't post the link. I can't even get to my... This is pretty freaking amazing. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why either. The mouse was working. All right, we'll just work without the mouse. So I have a playlist. I can't get to the playlist. I have a playlist, and a lot of my videos are about defining a narcissist and how to, like, signs of narcissists. There's like 6 playlists on my home page. So people that lie, they do so for a reason. So these videos that I watch are educational videos as to why people lie. Video that I put into a playlist, it was a pretty cool video. And if I can get the, hold on, this is ridiculous. If I can get the mouse to work. I don't know. You hear it beeping? I can't get this installing device driver. So if I can get the mouse to work, I will post the link to that newest playlist that I have up there. Blue Rose. Back to Page High. Blue Rose, thank you for stopping by, my friend. Page, I fell hard in Makati. Nice area, right beside Trump, Makati. Okay, so walking around in the Philippines and watching yourself, bad. Don't use your cell phone when you're walking on the streets in the Philippines. And that's from a doctor, Page High. Blue Rose, many years. Thank you for stopping by, Blue Rose. William Jenkins. William Jenkins, I don't know why he posted all those comments. I really don't understand, but apparently he needed to do that. William Jenkins. Michael Fazio isn't interested in video games and doesn't speak in such lingo or terms. Not sure what your objective is here with your comments. Jack Thompson says, Tiki Torch inserted in the back of your t-shirt works good too. Warren would give you 2 thumbs up. So, Dr. Page High, maybe you would be able to answer this question if you just came in. Warren and I are looking for a private shuttle service from Australia to the Philippines because the bigger airlines are not running flights until maybe October. And Warren wants to come here in July. Just off, because you're a doctor, you may have had to use a service like this. Is there a small airline like 8, 10, 12, 18 passenger Learjet or turboprop company, just the company name, not the telephone number, that shuttles people from Australia to the Philippines. Once he gets here, we'll worry about getting him back. But we want to get him here early July at the latest. So that's just a question. So Page High, back to the comments here. Page High is saying hello to Warren and Scott and everyone. Tommy says, now, yeah, this is part of the. I am a person. I'm the first person that I know of that stated what the 2 or 3 inches of dust that you see on the curbside in Cebu was. A lot of other people, Gary Kennedy, Steve Montelli, and several other people noted that my video about the dust in the streets of Cebu was correct, and that it was the first time they had heard about it as well. So when you are walking down the streets, period, in the Philippines, period, and it's really dusty, period, you are breathing in some dust from plant and animal debris that washes on the street from a hillside, a grassy hillside, or a hillside with weeds on it, or leaves from a tree. But most of that dust comes from overflowing septic troughs where the water comes out onto the street. Now, you have to remember, private houses don't have grinders that grind it up into a soft pumice type material. So whatever gets flushed into a toilet tank in the Philippines goes out of their house into a trough, and then it flows downhill. But some of that stuff overflows from the top if there's a blockage somewhere down the road, and there are lots of blockages. So that debris in the form of sanitary napkins, tissue paper, toilet paper, anything that was put into a toilet or flushed down a shower stall, soap, all of that stuff is inside the mix, what we call the effluent, effluent. Effluent is the liquid material that comes out of a bathroom or a kitchen, effluent. So, and I know this because I'm a licensed septic tank contractor installer. So this is, it's just a term that is not used so much, but these effluents flow out of the top of the trough and it dries on the street. And inside those effluents are little pieces of toilet paper, tissue, sanitary napkins, whatever's thrown down into the sink, food debris, guts from fish, guts from baboy, the pig intestines, old food, spoiled food, rice. That's all mixed in with the effluent. It's just a combination of everything. And that flows out of the septic trough, and then it dries up on the street when cars roll over it. There's a video I have up called Three Rivers. It's still there. I saw it just 2 days ago. I want to stop and make another video of the Three Rivers because it's been there for 7 years. I've been making videos about the Three Rivers right in front of McDonald's in Tagbilaran City. So those effluents get washed onto the street, then the cars drive over it. It gets splashed up into the mud wells of the cars or the tricycles or the buses, and then it dries up and it falls off as a form of dust. It gets squashed onto the blacktop, turns into a dry matter, and the dust gets spewed around. So you are breathing in septic water effluents, and whenever you go home and your nose is stuffed, it's stuffed with septic water effluents. Now, Page High will tell you that by breathing in these effluents and all of the caustic soaps and chemicals in it, bacteria, germs, that will make your body stronger to some degree. But what you're breathing in is septic water. So it would not be a whole lot different if you just walked over to the septic tank and took a little sip. Or the septic water line in the street is basically just dried effluents. So, I mean, I wouldn't imagine a big sip would be a good thing, but a little sip might be, might not be a good thing either. But I mean, but when you're breathing in that dust, you are sipping septic water. Take my word for it. I am a septic tank contractor and a licensed excavation contractor and a licensed landscaping contractor and a licensed A&P jet mechanic and I have other licenses. So let's see what we have. We have a mouse, which means I can go to my home page. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna get you a link of the newest playlist I posted yesterday that had to do with well, let me get the title. I'm just gonna give you a link to the playlist. All my playlists on the subjects of understanding narcissism, they're all public. I turned liked playlists yesterday. Oh, why is that? Okay, here it is. In fact, I am going to take the chance and turn the screen around. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to say those words. I'm going to post that. You know what? I don't have to turn it around. I can just go like this. Okay, here we go. Look at this. This is a video. That's the name of the video, and that's a playlist. It's also the name of the video that I'm going to click right now, and that's on my homepage under playlists. Now the second playlist is, well, we'll go from left to right. This playlist is called Narcissism and the Rat Theory, What's Behind the Wall. And this man here describes that the narcissistic supply in and of itself is not enough for the narcissist. Therefore, he befriends other people with similar characteristical traits. And that's why he calls it the rat theory. So basically what he says in this video is where there is one narcissist, typically they will gather around and become friends with one another like the rats inside a wall of a house. The second video is called How Does a Narcissist Handle Rejection? And No Contact, which is also known as Gray Rock. Performing, and that's why that video is up there. Now the third one is A Simple Trick, Tell Apart Narcissist, Psychopath, and Borderline. I don't know what the last word is. Playlist. And I'm going to click on this. It's on my homepage. Then I'm going to go to What's Behind Narcissism and the Rat Theory. Now, I want you people to understand that this theory is true and correct. It actually holds water. So how I do that is I take how I get my links. I paste it. So it's pasted now. And then I copy the link at the top of the page. And copy you. I'm going to get rid of that. That's garbage. And copy the title. Put it in the comment section. Press link at the top of the page up here. paste the link below the title, copy them, and then press cancel your comment. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of my page, and I'm going to post that link. What I do is I post it 3 times. So once, twice, 3 times. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you a bonus link here. I'm going to go back and get a video from my playlist also. So that's this video. It's only 12 minutes long. Well worth the review time. In fact, you guys could do that now and come back in a few minutes, because what it basically says is, I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then I'll post the other one. What it basically states, in no uncertain terms, is that what that video states is that if you're familiar, if you have a narcissist in your life, someone that's constantly needling you, trying to piss you off, or doing things that would normally piss off the average person. If you have someone like that in your life, that typically they need support from other people just like them, and they will recruit the services of those other people. Now, if you were to use the example, if you go to a party and one person that you know for sure has certain characteristical traits, typically, and then there's a group of people that stay together the whole night, typically that entire group of people will have similar traits. So any one of those people that you try to get involved with are going to try to piss you off. And that's what this narcissism and rat theory video is about. People have a tendency to stay with other people that have the same innate characteristics. And that this particular fellow describes it really well. So I suggest you watch the video I just posted. So I'll go back to the comments now. Thank you. Jack Thompson, that damn fedora. Jack, tell you what I'm going to do. The fedora is waving at you. Hey, Jack Thompson. Hey, Jack Thompson. Did I hear Jack Thompson? Mr. Obama, go away. Go away. Jack Thompson, he's a man's man. He's a man's man, Mr. Fazio. He's a man's man. Jack Thompson is a man's man. We talk about that all the time. We talk about how hard we worked and how hard we still work and the things we do as work. Jack Thompson and I have some interesting conversations on the phone. Thank you, Jack. Salamat. Hey, Chai. I bruised a bone in my lateral aspect of foot, but otherwise was lucky. Thanks, Warren. And I remember that when that happened about two or 3 months back, Page High. But William Jenkins, umping Permy. Take care, William. All those unnecessary, off-topic comments, why, I don't know. Jack Thompson, timeout hammer has been raised. That's true. Michael Fazio, I'm back. Dennis Adams says thank you. And that my naming of the coal was close. Well, I actually probably should know that name, but I never had a coal stove, so I have never bought. The first time except for King's charcoal, I don't think I ever bought anything that said coal on it. So Dennis Adams says the 2 names of coal are bituminous coal and anthracite coal. So bituminous coal and anthracite coal. Thank you, Dennis. I'm back. Okay, yeah. We did have some serious weather here last night. When I say that it rained serious last night, I am talking the kind of storm I love. Those of you, excuse me, those of you who have never been out on the ocean during a hurricane or a typhoon, I mean on the water, I'm not talking about on the beach, I'm talking about out in the ocean at night in hurricane, gale force, storm winds. You have never lived. You just have never lived life. Now, I've been out so many times on the ocean at night in storms that would typically, unless I quantify you or you quantify or you exhibit real manhood, you are out there on a boat, barge, or tugboat or scow, and there's no place to go. So you're going to stay there and weather the storm, so to speak. But it has caused people to quit their jobs on tugboats. Now, when I was 14, I decked for my dad, my dear old dad, on the Paulinock tugboat that worked at the Trade Center reclamation job. And we used to do tows as far as Boston, Massachusetts, or Maine even, to pick up caissons and different other pieces of equipment, or railroad cars full of equipment for the Battery Park City job. And we would be out in the ocean and it would go 20-foot seas, no problem. I mean, you know, and we would be either no load and running with the wind and the tide, or load against the wind and the tide. And the top nautical speed of a tugboat is 12 knots anyway, so if we were running with the wind and the tide, you might get 14 knots. But if you're running against the wind and the tide, and you got a 300,000 ton car float being towed at about 1,000 to 1,500 feet back, the bigger the storm, the further back you put it, the more line you lay out, or more cable you lay out. There's nowhere to go. And the boat goes like this. It goes up, and it goes like this, and then it comes down. And if there weren't doors, you know, battleship quality doors on the first level of the tugboat would just sink. I mean, if it was just like a wooden door, even sometimes we'd get water up in the pilot house, which is where the feet are, where your feet go in the pilot house, where the feet off freeboard are 12 feet from the water level. So you got 2 feet, 36 inches of freeboard. For those of you who don't know what freeboard is, it's the amount of water from the water line to the railing or the trine on your boat. So if you got 3 foot of freeboard, you might only have 2 feet of water to the deck. So you might have a foot, like a foot railing, like a fender. But it's 12 feet to the base of the pilot house. And if you haven't been out in a storm, you haven't lived. I don't care what kind of storm you've been in on land. Wait till you get 4, 5, 10 miles offshore and you get 75, 80 mile an hour winds with hail, sleet, snow, and rain, and then it's pitch black, and then you get 17 to 20, 22, 23 foot waves. Just wait. I can't describe it. I've been there. I love it. I love it. It makes you feel like you are alive, baby. Anybody out there, anybody nautical, will say it's the thrill of a lifetime. There's not, you know, it's like those people that go 250 miles an hour around a track. It's pure adrenaline. And then there are people that get off the boat and quit. They don't want to be a deckhand anymore. And my dad didn't care. We're going. We're leaving port. If there's a storm coming, we're leaving port. And he would leave. And he would tow us through that crap. And I worked out with my dad several different times on tugboats as a deckhand. And then a lot of times my dad would get called because there's a storm and a barge broke loose, or they had to reset the anchors. And my dad would just say, Mike, he'd call me up. He'd say, Mike, you want to go? We got to run. I got to go to Connecticut, or I got to go to what was where we built that sewer tunnel, Mamaroneck or Connecticut, wherever we had to go. We'd say, you want to take a ride? It'd be, when he called me, it'd be 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd say, yeah, okay, I'll be right over. Because I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. I like being out there. So you people that have never experienced what that is, you've never experienced an adrenaline rush. Probably you would shit your pants, is probably what would happen. You'd get off the boat and you'd say, I'm never going to, and especially if you were working on it. And then when we got to where we were going, we would tie a line onto our safety vests, and we'd go out and try to snag a cleat with a line, throw a line to a barge that's floating against maybe a shoreline or a rock jetty, so that the barge doesn't get beat up and sink. That's what men do. Men do stuff like that. Men don't talk about shit like that. Men do it. And there's lots of people that do that for a living. Now, would I want to be a deckhand for a living? No. But there's lots of people that are deckhands. Did I mind doing it? No. It's just a boring job being a deckhand. You're either killing yourself or you're doing nothing. And that wasn't why I didn't want to be a deckhand. On those big boats, we had washing machines and dryers in the engine room, but they didn't wash or clean the linen so often, and everybody was full of diesel fuel or salt water anyway. The only cabin that was ever clean was the captain's cabin. So I didn't sleep in the captain's cabin. I wasn't the captain. My dad slept in the captain's cabin, and the other captain, if we went on a 24-hour tow, whoever else was piloting the boat, or another captain, just because the guy was running the boat didn't make him a captain. I mean, Dad would put me on a heading, and I'd go there and just keep it on. No, not always in a storm either. A lot of times the sea was dead calm, but the captain would go to sleep. So you would be if you took over the captain's position at the wheel, and you were heading in a direction, you would be piloting the ship. Blue Rose, Dennis Adams. We did have a storm. I love those. I will stop doing whatever I'm doing and go stand out on the veranda. I will not let a storm like that go by without seeing it. I love it. And then there was lightning and thunder too. Dennis Adams says he's back. Blue Rose said, behold, Jack Thompson. He is a hero and a lifesaver. So the video that I posted earlier, that in fact, indeed, I saved a life yesterday. Not a joke. I sent it to more people than are watching my live stream and making comments. More people. And Dr. Page, I would have sent that to you as well. I did send it to Dr. Clark Henderson and my friend Carl Vella. Good night, Dennis. Sorry that I didn't catch up with the comments earlier. Three Rivers Stadium. Yeah, I'm gonna. Scott Del Fuego. It's probably not much different in any big city. So yeah, when you go home, the mask stops a lot of that dust. But whenever you get home from the city and your nasal passages are clogged up, in America, not so much affluent, but in the foreign countries, third world countries, all affluent. Well, like I said, Scott, the best way to get use of dried effluent is just to take a little sip from the wet effluent, kind of like a starter. affluent package. Yes, we have another fence jumper, Warren H. Thank you for, yeah, that's true. We do. Michael's lives are total stream of consciousness. Michael's lives, so my live streams, are total stream of consciousness. He has preparation and notes, but at all times his intellect demands real-time challenges and different direction. He is a gonzo YouTuber. Never expect. Never expect. Okay? And there should be more. Never expect. Never expected, probably. I have a difficult time learning from video. I am much better with the written word. You are a master of the English language. Thank you. Thank you very much for another well-written, well-established, and truthful compliment from Scott Del Fuego. Thank you, Scott. Jack Thompson. Yeah, baby. He'll probably do that. He has no, well, you know, Jack, here's why that might happen. When you don't have a person, a vlogger, a channel, a group of people, when a clutch of people have no creative genius inside their minds or on their channel or their ability to make commentary, they copy other people's words and make fun of other people's words. Even if it meant as a comedy situation, they will take it to heart and they will make what it is out of what it is not. So when people do that, it's because they lack intelligence, they lack the ability to do things on a creative level, they lack the ability to do something creative that's enjoyable because they lack experience in everything except bullshit. They lack experience. If it doesn't concern bullshit, they lack experience. So the perfect example of bullshit is that certain people know for a fact I never owned a house in Key Largo. Bullshit. Some people believe I never owned an Ocean Racer. Bullshit. Okay? And the list goes on and on. So when they lack creative genius, they have to copy, which, as you well know, when you copy somebody else's ideas, works, words, or commentary, in a way, it's a form of flattery. So there is even a bullshit story out there that I stutter. So I would wager you $10,000 I haven't stuttered on a stuttering type aspect of speech, not even one time in this video, unless I did it on purpose. So the aspect that someone keeps saying that I stutter, you stutter, and it's to make a point. And yet there are people out there that use the words, the exact words that I stutter, to somehow mock my words. And all they do is bring more traffic to my videos, live streams, and my channel. So have at it. But you should know that I don't believe that you have 1 gram of creative genius in your soul. That's what I believe. That's my opinion. My opinion is that your soul has 0 creativity. My opinion is that you have no understanding of reality. That's my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion, right? I think I heard that someplace. So my opinion is that the people who copy my work as to whether or not I own this, that, or the other thing, even when there's videos on YouTube or videos available for the right price, if you want to make a wager about something, I have videos that will back up what I say. So basically, by you mocking me, you are building up views, the thumbs up and the thumbs down, and my channel. There you go. 2 thumbs up. You put the fedora, and boy, it's time to me to get a haircut, yeah? You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get a tattoo right here, because I could see from the beginning of this lockdown till now, I'm being honest now. It could just be age, but now I'm thinking that right here is where my hairline was when the lockdown started. And if it went back it looks like close to 1/8 of an inch back. If it went back 1/8 of an inch in the last 4 months, I'm in a world of shit. Because within the next 10 years, it's going to be back further, another 1.25 inches. Shit. It only went back 1/8 of an inch in 45 years, and now it went back 1/8 in the last 4 months. Could be, wait, let me put my glasses on. Could be I just was looking at it from a bad angle with no glasses. It's about the same when I started the lockdown. Anyway, the fedora is on, and you are welcome to comment. Jack Thompson, that was funny. Yeah, just not drink septic water. That's where the misinterpretation that the effluent causes dust in your nostrils. If you want to prepare yourself for the dust, just take a sip. You don't drink it. But of course, I wouldn't recommend even a sip. It's comedy. It's called comedy. It's called satire. So if anyone is stupid enough to post, and I mean stupid enough to post, that I said people should drink septic water, it doesn't make a difference what I said or what I didn't say. Somebody that doesn't have the brain trust of a block of wood, someone that doesn't have the IQ of a block of wood, will misinterpret that statement, but it doesn't matter. The actual point that I was making is that when you're walking down the streets of the Philippines and you're breathing in dust from the streets, you are getting more bacteria and germs than you would if you were walking through a forest, because of the septic effluents that have dried and become dust. And that doesn't necessarily hurt a person. That's what people don't understand. I used to crawl inside septic tanks and just stand in 18, 20 inches of effluent. We'll call it effluent. Septic water with a pair of sneakers. Okay, because even if you wore 24-inch boots, first of all, they're heavy. Second of all, when you're bucketing that stuff out, water falls into the boot anyway. You might as well just go in with a pair of old ratty sneakers and come out and take a bath. Hose yourself down. But I never got sick. Not till this day, ever. So actually, all those germs that you breathe in build up an immunity in your system. Warren says, you've not studied during this live stream yet. Please remember from now on that you study. Of course. That would be cool. I could do, you know what, Warren? I might just do that. Ed Lippett is in the house, and he has on a pink thumbnail. Ed Lippett says he cannot dye his hair orange. it would be copying someone else, and they would get butthurt. Ed Lippitt. So let's tell a little bit background about Ed Lippitt. One day after he graduated, he joined the Air Force, and he stayed in the Air Force 21 years, and now he lives in the Philippines. So we thank you for your service to the country, Ed Lippitt, and I would imagine you have some great stories being in the Air Force. The Air Force, I wish that I could have joined. I wish you lived like the movie Something Runner with Rutger Hauer, where he lived like 1,000 years or a couple of 100 years, or then he experienced living on the moons of Venus, and he traveled all throughout the universe, and his time was up. Maybe was it not Blade Runner, but one of the. I wish he'd lived like 500 years. I would want to go down in a deep sea diving bell and listen to the pressure crush the diving bell and make it squeak. I would want to fly, learn how to fly, and then fly fighter jets and do acrobatics, go vertical. I think that would be like the coolest thing in the world, to go vertical and do it by yourself. I mean, or I think that would be one of just the coolest things that you could possibly do. Be flying along straight and level at 600 miles an hour and just go vertical. I just can't imagine anything being cooler than that as far as flying is concerned. Flying upside down, yeah, but just going vertical would be just so cool. I wonder, you don't just get to go in the back or the second seat of a fighter aircraft or an aircraft that can do that so easy. I only know one person that ever got to fly in a fighter jet that wasn't military or in the service at all. That was the guy that worked for me, Bobby, on my barge. His brother Rick was an Air Force fighter pilot, and he took Bobby, I don't remember the name of the base, but Bobby was 12 or 13 years old. We were little children then, and he took Bobby up into a fighter jet. And Rick was a pilot during Vietnam. I don't know if he was in Vietnam or not. I think he was. There are pictures of Rick in his pilot flight suit on a friend of mine's Facebook page, but I wouldn't know where they are. That's from years ago. So anyway, yeah, I wonder if Ed Lippitt had that experience. But there's a lot of cool stuff that the Air Force has. And the Air Force has, if you're an officer, I think they have better food. I don't know. Ed Lippitt would be the person to go to. So welcome Ed Lippitt. And Ed Lippitt is a man's man. I won't say why, but take my word for it. If you're on a scale of being a man and being truthful and honest and, shall we say, I have to find the right word, not afraid of being criticized, Ed Lippitt is right up there with the people that never cared, don't care now, and are never going to care what other people think about him. Why? Because when you reach a certain state of manhood in life, which a lot of the people on my channel here have, think doesn't affect them the same way that what we think about other people affects those other people, because they have very fragile egos. They've never accomplished great things in life. Great things. We're talking about great things. I mean, there are Scott Del Fuego. He's at the head of his class in his profession. It doesn't go any further than that. Dr. Paige High. Doctor says it all, doesn't it? Dr. Clark Henderson. Doctor says it all. I can't tell you how many people and their positions in life of high scholarly and or authoritative professions are watching this video right now just because they like to watch Michael Fazio's video uploads and or live streams. But Ed Lippert is one of those people who's a man's man, doesn't care what other people think. Whereas if you're a friend of Ed Lippert and there are 4 or 5 morons on another person's channel saying untruthful things about you, and Ed Lippert is your friend, he's going to defend you. He might not make 20 blurbs defending you because that's not necessary. He'll just say something like, Mike Fazio is my friend, and that's not true, and there's no reason to talk to Mike like that. That's all that's need to be said. Doesn't matter if he gets attacked. He doesn't care about stuff like that. He's not a little child. He's a man's man. Go ahead and say something to any of the men on the channel. They'll just laugh at you because they know, the men that are on my channel right now, they know that the people out there making the false accusations, the lies, the half-truths, the deceit, the deception, the slander, the maligning of a person's character, they know those people will never, ever, 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 ever say something like that to Scott Del Fuego to his face. Scott knows that. I know that. Because those people, by definition, are afraid of getting their egos bruised. Whereas when people say stuff like that about me, it's not true. You can't prove the wager, so it must not be true. So what benefit does a person get out of saying that Mike Fazio or the island guy lives in a filthy, rundown shack? What benefit is that to that person to say that? It serves no purpose. It can't be proven because it's not true. So if you can't prove something and you spew, S-P-E-W, spew bullshit from your mouth, and I wager you $10,000 that I bought a house in Key Largo, or I owned a Cobra, or an Ocean Racer, or own cranes and barges, or have different licenses. If I wager you that money and you can't prove it, all you have proven to everybody involved is that you're a liar. You're a liar. And you can't let that go, so you have to continue day after day after day after day with the bullshit, trying to convince people that you're not a liar. When in fact, most people on YouTube spend half their life bullshitting other people and trying to make them believe it. I don't understand why, because I personally don't do that. If I told you a story that I was out in Mamaroneck or in Connecticut trying to get a line on a barge in 16-foot seas, we got to shore. I don't think the waves were 6 or 7 or 8 feet. I don't think they were, but we were on the front of the barge trying to get a line on a bit on a scow that washed up on the barge. But when I tell you that story, it's true. All right, so let's get back. Scott Del Fuego, he did say some true stuff, Scott Del Fuego did. I could get my hair colored pink, or I could do orange, but I remember I spray painted my hair orange. So I could spray paint my hair orange on any given day for the right money. Scott Del Fuego says he stutters when in character as Rebel Boy Jew Barker in the Philippines, baby. Of course, some are stupid to recognize the satire presented in a character. Too stupid. Of course, some are too stupid to recognize the satire presented in a character. That's true, Scott. Everything Scott has ever said you can base your life on the fact that Scott tells the truth. Ed is saying hello to Warren. Warren is saying hello to Ed. Dust in the wind from Peekaboo to you. Yeah, baby. Now, talk about reaching the pinnacle of your field. I was just talking about reaching the pinnacle of a person's endeavor, his livelihood. Peekaboo to you had reached that it doesn't go any higher. There was no place to go from where Peekaboo to you was. So there are a lot of successful people on my channel that watch my dissertations, my commentaries, my live streams, and my videos. And Peekaboo to you. If you'd like Peekaboo to you, send me a message with maybe even here. If you sent like the first 3 letters, I don't know if I probably have your email. I do believe I do. I will send you a list of about 120 videos that are only accessible from my Patreon page. And those are the videos that I posted from March through last July. Now, if someone else wants a copy of those, you can make a one-time donation of $100, and then with your email. And once that charge goes through to my account on Patreon or on Patreon, I'll send you those videos. If you're not a member of my Patreon community and you want the last 120 videos, I'll sell those. Now, Tanny Ford was a member for 16 months, and I sent him a copy of those 120 videos this morning because I promised him a copy. I kept my word. I'm a man of my word. You should understand that. So, Peekaboo, if you have a video, an email address, and you send that to me, while it's still fresh in my mind, if you post the first 3 letters of your email address, I'll check right now and I'll forward that mail to you, because you have been very generous to me, and I thank you for that. That's true, Scott. Well, thank you for the comment. I wonder if the infamous blogger, says Scott Del Fuego, ever stopped to think that the Philippines is a nation of islands. Every guy in the Philippines is an island guy. LaRue says, Google eyes. Ed says, Ed is sharing a piece of his life with us. Yeah, okay, but that's still cool, Ed. That is still cool, rather than sitting in a nice, comfortable seat. The experience of riding in the back of a transport plane, that I would like to have done all of those things. If I could have only done all of those things. You have to make a choice when you're young. You got to go in a direction. And that would be cool. That would be cool. M-A-R. I would imagine she is. Let me go to my page here. Let's see what happens when I go to compose. If it doesn't show up here, send it to me from the other direction. Hold on. My mail. I I don't know why. All right, hold on a second. I put the letters in, and it takes about 10 seconds because the computer's running slow. It's doing other stuff in the background. Got it. K1@gmail.com. Got it. Okay. Okay, so first I have to go to my sent mail. What happened to that mail I sent out? Should have. All right, never mind. I'll just do it a different way. I'll put the name of the video, and it will show right up. Oh, I know why it didn't show up. Okay, here we go. All right, it's going to be going out in about drafts. Okay, so you're going to get mail with another good friend of mine, and you don't have to worry about the emails being shared. You're in the same profession. Okay, it's sent. Just let me know when you get it. Peekaboo. That would be, I actually gonna happen. We should have a conversation. You know, you have more insight to what's going on, and probably 99.9% of all the people in the world. I mean, if you took the knowledge base that you experienced in your life and what's going on now, you should be fully aware that the videos I made 10 years ago as to why I was moving to the Philippines, in that, one, I like to swim every day. I wish to go swimming. Two, I like to go scuba diving, and the water gets cold, and even in Florida in the winter. And three, I did not believe the Philippines would get devastated like America is getting devastated now. But with your understanding of things, and the position that you're in life, I would say that tomorrow I'm going to go out and buy a big for sale sign and move to the Philippines. Not next week or next month. I don't know that you have that much from my investment in America is astounding. And I'm never going to get that back. I'm willing to walk away for a lot less than what things were worth back, what they were worth back 6 months ago. I would say to you, and this is enough. I mean, I think that you're in that kind of a position. And that goes for Scott Del Fuego and anybody else that's still living in America. Whatever you think that you hear on the news, believe me, it's not the truth. Things are not going to get better. And they're just not going to get better. That channel that I posted in the WTSTF yesterday, he put up 2 more yesterday. It's an amazing thing what's going on in America. Nobody says a word. My solution to that problem would be different, but I don't live in America, and that's why I don't live in America. So, Peekaboo, I'm going to go back to the comments. Well, the cost of, well, I don't know if you saw the part of the live stream yesterday that I did. The cost of pants were 1,800 pesos on Tuesday. That's 3 days ago. And all the store, anything, if it said Dickie on it, Dickies, anything that said Dickies was half price. And when does Dickies run a half price sale? Really? And shorts, on shorts, the week that summer starts in the Philippines, they're not going to run a half price sale on shorts. A week before, actual summer starts in the Philippines. Why would they do that? If it said Dickies on it, it was on sale. The garment cloth store that I went in, everything was 50% off. Everything. Didn't matter what it was. Not the sewing needles. These were 10 pesos for the sewing needle, but it's the only store that I ever saw these in this size, and I needed it. So, but where is my other sewing needle, by the way? I lost it. I had a big sewing needle. Probably fell out in my bag. Well, anyway, everything was half price. So the property probably has come down. There's no way. All right, so so peekaboo to you. There's no commerce happening in the Philippines. Nothing. All hotels are empty. Except there's some sort of if you have like a small enough establishment, you can rent rooms, but I don't even know if that's legal. I don't care whether it's legal or not. I see it happening in some places where somebody built a house with a couple of rooms in the back that they're renting out, and they have a for rent sign in the front of the house. So I guess it's, if they put a for rent sign in front of the house, I have to get my bag, which is right here. I do not want to have something falling out. I need it. So just give me a moment. I'm only right here. I'm going to find my bag, and I'm going to look for that item before it falls out and I lose it altogether. If I haven't, well, I don't think I lost it. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, God. Not there. Not there either. I think I did lose it. Man, I went through a lot of trouble to get that damn thing. I bought a sewing needle that's about 5 inches long to sew up some stuff. It's possible. This is the thread I bought to sew up a pair of sneakers. But I bought a needle that goes with it. I guess I lost it. They have more at the store. That's for that today. I don't have it today, so it's not going to happen. Okay. Oh boy. I had put it inside my books. I shoved it in here. It's not here, though. I ain't going to find it. I'm not going to find it. It's gone. It fell out of the book, and I must have turned the bag. I didn't turn the bag. Maybe the bag turned upside down in the tricycle and it fell out. Well, that's not going to happen today. Okay. I do have the thread. I have another needle. I just have to find it. Anyway, I bought this thread. Now, this wasn't on sale, but it was this quality thread. It's a very high strength thread. It's what we used to sew the sneakers together with. Where the heck is that? Hold on a minute. All right. I know I'm doing other stuff here, but while I think about it, I got to do it while I think about it, because if I don't do it when I think about it, I'll forget it later, and this stuff has to go out. No, it's gone. Okay, I'm done looking for that. Anyway, this thread here, I don't know what the tensile strength on this. It didn't say on the spool. They used to sell it by the spool, and I have about 10 meters on the spool, but I need this to sew this. The sneakers that Daisy sewed up last year, they need to be re-sewed. You could see, I'll show you them, the sneakers. They need a little bit of. And Daisy put this thread on here last year, or almost going on 2 years ago, and I have another pair of sneakers that were done with a different thread, like a nylon thread. It didn't last. So this works fine, perfect the way Daisy, she drilled holes through here and then put this green stuff is much stronger. It's more durable, because when I walk on rocks and when I'm doing work, I walk on a lot of rocks and piles of dirt. The nylon broke. This stuff doesn't break so easy. So I have another needle in a sewing kit, and I know where that sewing kit is. I have a man's sewing kit with high tensile strength filament, monofilament, or in this case polypropylene. That's my man's kit, and that's outside. And then I have a woman's sewing kit in the house that I use for sewing up my whatever I have to sew. Men sew, men do sewing. Men do whatever they need to do to get the job done. That's what men do. Sewing is not a woman's job. I mean, something that they do well and they have time to do it. But men make a lot more money in the sewing industry than women do. My grandfather, Frank, had a sewing company that made high-end gowns, dresses, and for weddings or graduations, proms, stuff like that, christenings. My grandfather had like a huge, I don't know how many people, more than 20 people in his sewing shop that I remember. And he made a lot of money doing sewing. So don't ever say that sewing is a woman's thing, because Grandpa Frank owned one of the biggest and most expensive sewing companies at that time for making if you wanted a custom wedding dress, Grandpa Frank would make that for you. Anywhere else you could buy off the shelf, for people. And then when those wedding dresses had to be modified, they would send them back to him with the modifications. But Grandpa had contacts in the Bowery and all over New Jersey and Connecticut, Brooklyn, Queens, New York. So, if someone calls me a sissy for sewing, please, by all means, do so. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Still waiting. It's been 3 years I hear this shit. Still waiting. Did you get... Okay, is transportation running out? Yes. Jeepneys running on the hour sales? Now they are. For two or 3 days, there were no jeepneys because the contracts were not renewed. Now running. I can only tell you the jeepneys from Tagbilaran City to Panglao are running. And the reason for that is 2 weeks ago, the jeepney contracts became null and void at noon on a certain day. And that day when I was, so I just took a tricycle. I don't know how many days they didn't run, but a few days later, I saw them running again to this area. But I did know that at the jeepney terminal in Tagbilaran, when I talked to my friends there, that people were making comments like there are no jeepneys because no one can afford to reinitiate their contract with the city because there's a price that you have to pay. So I wouldn't know if all the jeepneys are running. And I took the tricycle home the last time because I brought home 6 cases of bottled water, 10-liter bottles. So I brought back 12 bottles. And I wouldn't know if all of them are running. I can ask if I decide to take a jeepney. The next time I'll be taking a jeepney won't be for a while. I've taken care of everything I had in the city. But if I do, I'll write it down to ask. So did you get the mail yet, Peekaboo, to you? Now, I will tell you this also. I might ask a jeepney driver if they're running jeepneys regular. They might not understand the question and just say yes. So, because his jeepney is running regular. So if I say, are all jeepneys running regular, he will say all jeepneys are running regular because his jeepney runs regular all the time. Specific questions in the Philippines have to be very specific. Sometimes multiple questions for a simple answer are necessary. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Daisy was a genius when it came to sewing stuff. She liked sewing as well. Once I showed her how to use the drill with a nail, not a drill bit, because we didn't have small drill bits, but with like a 6-penny nail, just cut it on an angle. And once I showed her how to do that, she just went to town sewing every shoe there was to sew. She liked doing that. She liked welding too. like trying to find a needle in the haystack. This coming from a man and a scholar. Just think about that. Think about that if you'd have said that 5 years ago in front of the people that you worked with. That it's not a bad thing that you said, but it's funny. It's funny. But it's funny coming from someone with such a powerful position in life to hear something not childish, but just simple. Yeah, the tailors make a fortune. No, it should have been there a long time ago. Let me see if it was sent. The last. It take a long. Why is this not showing us in? What the heck is going on here? All right. It doesn't even show that it came back to me. I'll try it again. Hold on, I'll try it again. Because it's a person. Okay. I did have saved it as a draft. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to remove me, and I'm going to remove maybe because I sent it out with 2 other contacts. Maybe it didn't allow. It didn't, maybe it looked at it as spam mail. So I'm sending it to you again right now. So it's 1:14. It's sent 100%. So you can, the computer used enough. Would like to say I can connect us up. So, and at that point, I'm also the project on that project. That needs to be done. No, okay, wait, it's still sending. It's the sending button is still. That's why you didn't get your mail. Peekaboo to you. That's amazing. I don't really want to turn the camera around because I don't want people to see the names on the screen that I sent stuff to. Still sending. 2 minutes ago. It's been sending for 2 minutes. That's why you didn't get your mail. That's amazing. It's like impossible. No, it's not a question of figuring it out. It's a question of what the heck is going on here. I'll show you the site. How long does it take to send the mail? By the time the button comes up, the mail should have been sent. All right, there you go. That's, it took 3 minutes. 3 minutes it took to send the mail. So you might get 2 of those now. Either way, it's gone. All right, so the Warren, Peekaboo, I could call you as well if you'd like to say hello. And if you'd like to talk to Warren, or if Warren is available. I have Skype, and as you know, the calls are free. We've talked before. So if you'd like, you'll have to send that email back with your phone number in it, though. I don't know. We did not. And maybe call us, but I don't necessarily. A ring guard I sent my wife over a year. And if you'd like to say hello to Warren or myself, I'll be happy to do so. But of that, my live stream is now it's 2:14. It's going on almost an hour now. So I'm gonna stop that. Or is it 2 hours? Oh, it might be 3 hours. 3 hours. Maybe it's 3 hours. 3 hours of love, 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 as Mrs. Hopster would say. And thank you everybody for coming. Thank you very much for the donations. Remember, the next time I'm in dire need of money, what's going up on the auction block? Two things. This solid block of cocoa lumber that has been used for the last year or so to hold up one side of my cutting board so the water flows in one direction, or the juices flow in one direction. So this piece of cocoa lumber has a minimum bid of $10 when I do the auction. And this spatula, this aluminum spatula, has a minimum bid of $10 as well. But the two of them are going out as a pair. I wouldn't mind having another block of wood, a new block of wood, and the spatula can be hung on your wall as the spatula, the first spatula in the history of the world that banged a stainless steel pot and made several $1,000s. You would have bragging rights, just like the salesperson who sold me my Cobra. After the signed registration, after the deposit, after the cash changed hands, after the registration was a done deal, after all the paperwork was done, that man walked me out to the car, which was out in the showroom, on the outside showroom, and walked me out to the Cobra, the brand new 2001 Cobra Mustang with 6 miles on it, just got flatbedded in from Ohio. He walked me out and said to me, "Michael," and he put his hand out to shake my hand, and he shook my hand. This guy must do this every time he sells a Cobra or a Shelby. He said, "Michael, congratulations. You now have bragging rights that you have purchased a brand new Cobra and the fastest way known to man to lose your driver's license." And we shook, and as he said driver's license, he stopped shaking my hand, and that was the shake. He said, "Congratulations, Michael. You now have bragging rights that you own a brand new Cobra from the factory, and you also acquired the fastest possible way known to man to lose your driving license." And I had that car for 9 years. And I never, ever, ever didn't go faster than 100 plus miles an hour. At least once or twice a week. So you could imagine what condition my driver's license was in after 9 years. And my insurance after 9 years. But he was right. I had bragging rights to owning a brand new Cobra Mustang convertible silver with a black rag top and a suede gut, leather and suede gut. Yay! How many people can say that? Even if you have enough money to buy 10 Cobras, most people wouldn't do that, because along with the Cobra comes bragging rights as the fastest way known to man to lose your driver's license. And with that, I will say thank you to everybody. Okay, thank you very much, Peekaboo, too, for you. Enjoy yours as well. You know what? You can, if you send me pictures, I can pass them along if you'd like, or you could send them the other way. It's up to you. It depends on, I don't work on that site anymore. I do very little over there. I would see them, but I could not pass them on from that site. So if you choose to send the pictures and you sent them in an email, I can pass them on to whoever I choose. Thank you. All right, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate when real men stop by my channel and we have a conversation. Thank you very much. And plus, of course, for those of you who don't know, we, Peekaboo 2 and myself, Peekaboo to you and myself, did have the pleasure of meeting in the Philippines, baby. That's right. Thank you. Bye-bye, LaRue. God bless, LaRue. LaRue is a very, 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 very ardent believer in God. And I think that's great. That's 2 thumbs up, plus 2 thumbs up, plus 2 thumbs up. Bye-bye, sweetheart. Bye-bye, Peekaboo to you. I'm Bing Permy, everybody, from Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby.